Please do not use my absence as an excuse for leniency, as it in no way diminishes the profound and insidious impact of Mr. Vandenburg on me and my life. I still ask that he receive the complete sentence allowed under the law for orchestrating the sustained 30-minute gang rape against me, a defenseless woman who trusted him. The minimum sentence is not enough for what this man did to me.
These are the words of the victim, a 21-year-old who met the rapist, Brandon Vandenburg. On June 22, 2013, they met up at Tin Roof Bar on Demon Brunn Hill, a popular bar for Vanderbilt students. He was 20 then. This case is as twisted as you can imagine, and I will tell you the whole story. This content contains some horrific insights, so viewer discretion is advised. It all started with a broken door. On June 23, 2013, university workers discovered what seemed to be a kicked-in door on the second floor of the prestigious Vanderbilt University's Gillette House dorm. They had no idea what they were about to discover. A maintenance worker reported the shattered door to campus police, who began looking for the offender when it was knocked off its hinges and cracked in the middle. But as detectives sifted through CCTV footage, they discovered something far more deadly than a harmless prank. A group of men, university football players, looked to be dragging a lifeless body, later revealed to be a cheerleader from the football squad, down the hallways towards a dorm room. They laid her body on the ground, slumped towards the floor. The men came to a halt and began photographing the body before dragging it inside a room. Later, Brandon Vandenburg, the university's star recruit, appeared in the frame topless, his head covered by a towel. He drapes a towel over the camera. Campus cops quickly realize they've uncovered more than just a minor offense. They've found a gang rape. A gang rape so heinous that water bottles, physical attacks, and urination were used. A jury in Nashville, Tennessee, convicted Brandon Vandenburg almost 3 years ago of instigating and arranging his friends to rape the unconscious woman he had been seeing. After nearly 4 hours of deliberation, jurors found Vandenburg guilty on multiple charges of aggravated rape and aggravated sexual battery. He was also convicted on 1 count of unauthorized photography. Whoever broke that door broke this case open. Metro Nashville Police Detective Chad Gish told ABC's 2020. Vandenburg, then 20, met the victim, 21, barely 2 weeks before the rape, at a university recruitment event. They started dating once he began studying at the school. On the evening of June 22nd, the victim met Vandenburg at the Tin Roof, a neighborhood bar. She recalls a cinnamon shot, gin and tonic, and California iced tea. The last thing she remembered was drinking a blue drink. Vandenburg struck her face so hard that it left a bruise to prove she was unconscious. The following day, she awoke on Vandenburg's bed in his dorm room. According to Detective Gish, she was beaten and battered, but had no idea what had happened. That morning, they had sex again. He told me that I had gotten sick in his room, and he had to clean it up, and that it was horrible, and that he had to spend the whole night taking care of me. The victim testified during Vandenburg's first trial. Vandenburg was found guilty, but the case was retried after a juror failed to disclose she had been raped. I apologized. I was embarrassed. Later the night, when the victim was raped after 2:30 a.m., hallway surveillance cameras recorded Vandenburg and 3 other former players, Brandon Banks, Corey Beatty, and Jaborian McKenzie, taking the lady to Vandenburg's room 213, stopping at one point to picture her exposed body. However, the footage was not noticed right away. According to authorities, Vandenburg exchanged text messages and at least 1 photo with another ex-player, Chris Boyd, over 30 minutes. Later texts start to plot a cover-up. Boyd talks about deleting images and the victim's incapacity to remember what happened. Vandenburg covered a hallway surveillance camera with a white towel at 3:09 a.m. It fell 17 minutes later. Several athletes will interact throughout the following hour. On June 24, 2013, text messages began to pour in. New text communications between Boyd and Beatty address a deleted video and the woman's memory loss. The 5 men meet at Popeyes on this day or soon after to discuss the case. The investigation is being expanded as of June 24, 2013. Vanderbilt Athletic Director David Williams is aware of the event in Gillette Hall, which was discovered as part of his staff's routine check on what student-athletes did over the weekend. He later told the Tennessean that staff initially looked at information that did not include the later indicted men. The university responded on June 25, 2013. By Tuesday, more grim facts emerge as school personnel discover suspicious surveillance footage while investigating a separate incident. Gerald Black, an assistant dean in charge of student misconduct hearings, spends several hours recording interviews with 9 student athletes brought to his office by 3 athletics department administrators. Later, campus police were notified, and discussions were scheduled for Wednesday, June 26th. Metro police officers joined the case on June 26, 2013. Metro police officers joined the inquiry and questioned the woman. She refuses to allow police to search her phone, agreeing only to read them select conversations. She says she has already deleted other messages and photographs, a later concern for defense attorneys. Associate Director of Athletics, Kevin phone is Vandenburg at 11 p.m. to organize a 7 a.m. interview with municipal detectives the next day. A June 29th Metro Police report depicts an initially confused or unwilling victim who claims she did not believe she had been sexually attacked and refused to take a rape kit test until counseled by a police victim's advocate. According to the report, she continued to date Vandenburg, though it's unclear whether she realized what the 4 men were accused of doing to her then. Prosecutors said after the hearing that they believed the sentences would send a message that persons who perpetrate these sorts of crimes on campus will be held accountable. Victims should be aware that there are people on their side, whether they be police, prosecutors, or judges, according to Associate District Attorney Roger Moore. That's what I would like to see taken away from this, that justice is going to be served, Moore said in a statement. He was convicted in 2015, but the decision was overturned when attorneys discovered that the jury foreman had failed to disclose that he had been a victim of statutory rape. Vandenburg was convicted on 5 charges of aggravated rape, 2 counts of aggravated sexual violence, and 1 act of unauthorized photographing in June. He faced a jail term of 15 to 25 years, and his victim had requested the maximum punishment. The woman Vandenburg had begun seeing soon before the incident, but was not present in court. Still, a prosecutor gave her testimony to Davidson County Criminal Court Judge Monty Watkins. Please do not use my absence as an excuse for leniency, as it in no way diminishes the profound and insidious impact of Mr. Vandenburg on me and my life, she said. I continue to request that he receive the maximum sentence permitted by law for orchestrating a sustained 30-minute gang rape against me, a defenseless woman who trusted him. The minimum penalty is insufficient for what this man did to me. Vandenburg, who was already incarcerated following his second conviction, was also placed on the state sex offender register. Usually, the Associated Press does not identify victims of rape or sexual assault. Despite being forced to testify at many trials, the lady, who has now graduated from Vanderbilt and is pursuing a PhD at another university, has attempted to maintain her identity.
She is so great.
On Friday, Vandenburg apologized to her. He admitted before Judge Watkins that he was embarrassed by his actions and blamed them on drink. My judgment was severely impaired, and I'm sad for everyone involved, Vandenburg said. The judge stated again that this was one of the saddest situations he had ever heard. He said Vandenburg took advantage of the woman's confidence in the man she was dating. But it would not have happened for him, Watkins explained. In a separate case, Vandenburg's former teammate Corey Beatty was convicted and sentenced to 15 years. Jaborian Tip McKenzie and Brandon Banks, 2 additional former teammates facing rape and other allegations and who are still out on bail, have yet to be resolved. McKenzie regretted continuing with Vandenburg's devious plot, adding he was ashamed, embarrassed by what happened that night. I'm sorry I let it happen, he said inside a Nashville courtroom on 5 April 2018 Thursday, according to News Channel 5. Vandenburg was convicted for the second time. Last year, a mistrial was declared when it was found that a jury member had failed to mention that he had been the victim of sexual assault. Corey Beatty, his co-defendant, was convicted in April 2016. The 4 former football players are accused of bringing the inebriated lady into Vandenburg's dorm room and photographing and videotaping the alleged attack. The victim, now a graduate student in another state, testified for the 3rd time in court on Friday, saying she initially felt protective of Vandenburg during the inquiry. Trying to protect him was one of my main concerns at the time, and I was scared about them being thrown from the squad, she told WKRN. When asked if she agreed to have sex with any of the former football players on the night of the alleged assault, she said, "Absolutely not." The woman stated her sole memory of the night was sipping a blue cocktail Vandenburg handed her and waking up messy the next day. Vandenburg, who had been dating the victim for around 2 weeks at the time of the attack, informed her that he had taken her to his room to care for her after she had drunk too much. She only found out about her attack after detectives informed her of the explicit photographs and videos discovered on Vandenburg's phone. Prosecutors used the tapes to back up their case against the victim's ex-boyfriend, who can be heard smiling while filming the incident. According to his evidence Friday, Vandenburg's former roommate, Mac Priolo, who was in the dorm at the time of the assault, stated that he heard Mr. Vandenburg say he couldn't get an erection due to cocaine use. Mackenzie and the other defendant, Brandon Banks, have yet to go to trial. Turner's father notoriously lambasted the low sentence, saying it was too harsh after 20 minutes of action. Turner, 20, is scheduled to be freed from the county jail in early September after completing barely half his term.